Howdy folks, it's Age with the Hunting Gear Guy. I had been using this TLR-1 HL on this handgun for a while, which has not really been used a whole heck of a lot, but great light on it and very easy to take off and whatever, but it's a little bit big and I was getting kind of tired, so I asked Olight for a new one that might be a little bit more compact and have a little bit more power, and they sent me this. This is their Baldr S BL for blue laser, and kind of goes on the same way. It's got a bit of a toggle lock on the side there, and you can see it's quite a bit smaller than this guy over here, which is quite a bit smaller than some of the other lights out there as well. But this thing is pretty comparable in terms of light output. It's a little bit more of a diffuse light. I'll show some B-roll here of these lights compared. Okay, and this is the TLR-1 compared with the Olight gun light. See, the Olight's a little bit more yellow and about the same amount of brightness. But the Olight you can double tap to get a lower brightness, and you can switch to just the laser itself or just the light itself as well. It's a little bit different of a switch philosophy as well. On the TLR-1, they actually use like a clicky style switch on one side and then a momentary on the other. Whereas on this one, both sides are the same, and all they're doing is a quick press locks it on, whereas a hold will be momentary, and then once you let go, it's done. But that's not all. There's also some other features on this that are quite interesting. Now, with a lot of the previous version of gun lights, they used these kind of goofy batteries that you don't really find in a lot of other places. This is the CR123. It's a 123 anyways. It's a bit of an odd ball battery. This one uses two. Some of the other ones use one. It's got kind of a battery compartment that goes on there. Great for cold weather and that kind of thing, and great for usage, especially when you don't use it. But I like the idea of a battery built in is fairly nice. So that's what this one has on it. Now, with built-in battery flashlights and that kind of thing, there's a couple of different ways you can go about it. The old way is micro USB. Going the way of the Dodo. USB-C is great. Some of them, the battery itself has the charger built into it. Olight uses these magnetic chargers, which if you have other Olight stuff is a good idea. On a gun light, it's actually really nice because it allows you to have no rubber thing to like plug in. Instead, you've just got like this USB charger thing that kind of goes on there and is very easy to charge. When I guess you could charge these things like once a year if you're going to use them, that kind of thing. So nice from that aspect. So I showed the switches and how those work. Very small movements on them. Same thing on the other side. Exact same usage. We've got kind of a selector on the bottom here. So if we want like just the light or just the laser, we can choose what we want there, or both if you want both on there. And it's very easy to take off. And one thing I really like on this thing is just how easy it is to move it back and forth to adjust for where your rail is and where you want that thing sitting on your trigger guard. So we can just loosen this cam lock here, and then we can actually just bring it back or forth. So if we got long fingers, we could move a little bit more forward so it's not quite around where our trigger guard is, or we can move it nice and tight into where the trigger guard is to where it's right on top of where we want to, and then just lock it down, and that's really it. So pretty easy from that aspect to use this thing. Now to adjust the where the laser is versus where you're aiming, we've got those screws right here, up and down, left and right on there. And if you want more tension from the cam lock, there's a screw right there that you can adjust to give you more or less tension to pull this thing off. Now, while I've got the light off, I just want to show you the locking lug there. Says GL for Glock. Inside the box, there's also one for a 1913 rail. If you prefer to put it on something else as well, we've got an Allen key that's sized for that, the adjusting where the laser's aimed. Now, when you're sighting your laser in, you'll want to do it a little bit far of a distance, because if you're too close, what you're going to end up with is a bore to sight, bore to laser offset. It's going to be a laser offset. Now, the nice thing is that it's right at the top of the light, so it's a little bit less to the bore than maybe one that would be below. Like, I think I've got, yeah, I got one over there where it's got the laser like way down on the light there. That's gonna have more bore offset, but this one I set it in for 10 yards and now it's fine. And at 5, it's getting close. It's getting close to at 5 yards. Now, one of the issues with running a built-in battery like this is that that's a lithium-ion battery in there, and if you don't do the electronics properly, they can explode. Just like your phone and that kind of thing. Samsung's had these issues. Apple's had these issues. More Samsung, I think, than Apple. But I thought we'd do a fault test on this one to see if we can make the battery explode. I don't have nearly enough fire extinguishers around to support this, so hopefully this doesn't work. I'm just going to use a 22 shell casing. Brass should conduct, and I'm going to short these two. And we're going to see if I'm holding a ball of flame shortly. This shouldn't cause, if the electronics are done properly, this shouldn't cause a problem. Hopefully this doesn't cause a problem. This will be very, embarrassing, dangerous if this causes a problem. It's not causing a problem. It's fine. So it's good from that aspect. Just in keeping care of lithium-ion batteries, if you run it all the way out, make sure you charge it again soon-ish. Like, they'll reserve 5% or whatever of their battery left. If they get right down to 0, that can be bad. If they overcharge, that can be bad. I don't think you're going to have to worry about the overcharging that much because that's going to be handled inside there. But if you if you like kill it dead and then leave it for a while, that might damage the battery. So I don't know. I would just charge it once a year or however much makes sense for your use of a flashlight like this. So am I going to use it? Well, yeah, it's much more compact than what I had before. I do really like the ability to move it back and forth, slap it on, take the thing right off if you really want to, and run it way up close or a little bit further. Just going to make it work on more guns that you want it to work on. I do like the quick on there. Now, one other thing we can do is change the brightness kind of on the fly. This would make sense if you just want to keep your night vision while you're using this at night. So single press for bright, and then a double for a lower power light. So would I recommend the Baldr S? Well, in short, I'm going to use it because it's more compact than this guy. It doesn't use weird batteries, which is nice. It does use a weird charger, but I got some other Olight stuff, so the fact that I can use that is not really a big deal to me. As long as you've got one of these chargers on hand, it does make for a nice, smooth mount on the light. So that's an advantage. And I do like the ability to very quickly adjust where the light sits on the gun, whether you want it close or far or super tight or super far. They're all kind of like very easy to set up on this thing. And most other lights, that's just a bit more of a chore to do. This one's very quick, and it's very quick to just turn on and use. I found the brightness of the light to be enough, and to be floody enough that I can still see it. I really don't want to spot for something like this. Anytime you're trying to identify a floodlight, is going to be a lot better than a spot. And this one is nice and floody, so I do like it for that aspect. And I'm probably going to leave it on this gun. Thanks for watching.